So today we're going to talk about some things that actually helped me improve my life, my quality of life, other than SR. Because I think SR is a great discipline and it led to the opening of introducing like these habits into my life. But it was the habits that actually helped me. SR was like the fuel to keep the momentum of those habits going, whether it was placebo, whether I needed it or not. I believe that to be true. That is like the baseline to your being, and then that alone isn't going to help. Adding these habits actually helped me. So we're going to talk about rewiring your brain and how to be patient with that and what that looked like for me and how that led to my manifestation so that you can get what you want, right? So the basis of the law of attraction, you get what you think about. It's very simple. Don't try to overcomplicate it. You get what you think about. The circumstances that you are facing in your life right now are because of your thoughts and your thinking. If you think positively, and the more specific you get about that thinking, the better you're going to feel, but those will lead you to positive manifestations. And the same goes for negative, right? The more general you are, you will experience, in my opinion, a randomization or the dominant thoughts of whatever you're thinking. So when I say randomization, if you're not specific about your thoughts, if you're not specifically focused on something, let's say you're generally negative, which is better feeling than specifically negative, right? There's a threshold. There's specifically negative, generally positive, and specifically positive, and then everything in between. When you want to manifest something, the more specific you are, the more specific the external reality will be reflected back to you. If you are dealing with circumstances that they're not bad, they lean more towards the negative side, but they're not specifically negative, right? They're like generally like just maybe unpreferable. You're being generally negative, which will create a kind of this random effect of, well, just random negative shit is happening. But you're not negatively specific about these things. You're not negatively aligning yourself specifically with manifesting these things. But somehow this shit keeps happening. It's because you continue to complain. You continue to feed into that energy, the emotion of it, right? And the same may go if you're generally positive. If you're just like, I'm having a good day, then positive things will happen. If you're thinking generally positive, but it may not be specific enough for you to feel the shift in your reality. Shifting your reality is simple, but it takes discipline. Manifestation has a lot to do with discipline and identification. So the more disciplined you are in your thought process, the faster your reality is going to change. The faster your mind changes, the faster your reality changes. So from my experience, the more general I was, especially starting out, you feel better. The first manifestation that you need to actually tend to is your emotions. Your emotions are a signal to you how close or how far you are from your desired reality. If you're feeling like shit, you're really far away. If you're feeling pretty good, you're close. The better you feel, the closer you are to a positive manifestation or a shift in your reality that is going to continue to get you to your desired reality and more desired, more desires, which your desired reality is constantly evolving as well. There is only one source. So this video is going to be filled with a lot of information, and hopefully maybe I'll draw something out for you so that you can understand. The process of rewiring your brain is the most important process that you need to integrate into your life. Rewiring your brain is the only way to get what you want. It's the only way to manifest. Everything is energy. Money, energy. Having a house, it's energy. But most importantly, having a car, having a relationship, having these physical things is not what you're actually manifesting. It may seem like that on the surface, but what you're actually manifesting is the identification The person, the version of yourself that has these things is what you're actually manifesting. You have a desired reality and you have a desired version of yourself in that reality. That person thinks very differently than the person that you are now. In order to have those things, you need to align with the energy that that person is radiating. If you're thinking shitty, your life is going to be shitty. If you're thinking positively, your life is going to be more positive. You have to align your thoughts with what you want. Now, that may sound simple. In practice, it takes discipline. On paper, it's simple because it's really not a complicated thing. But what's complicated is you have so much momentum built up of limiting beliefs and of what's possible that you are unable to make the shift to where you want to be so quickly because you have so much momentum thinking the opposite. So maybe you'll be able to get yourself into the vibration of allowing good things to happen to you, but you're inconsistent with it. You're not dominantly thinking in that place. So maybe you watch some video like this and you're able to feel more positive. Okay, I can start to shift the emotions within me by being generally positive. If you're being specifically negative, you're not going to go to specifically positive from being specifically negative, right? If your life is shit and you want to change it overnight, I promise you, it is most likely not going to happen. And I had to realize that. So something that I understand is also being patient with this process. If you are being specifically negative, your focus, and in any moment in time, is to shift your emotions. The logical next step would be generally negative. Okay, well, things have worked out for me before. Maybe things are, unpreferable right now, but I'm sure that I'm going to have a good day soon, or I can do something that makes me feel better. That's a general statement, right? You start becoming more general once you get into that positive place. Maybe you're already having a good life. You just want shit to be better and specific things you want to manifest. But you need to understand that the only specific things that you can manifest are the things that you are giving your energy to consistently. If you want a certain relationship, a car, a house, an item, or a position, a career, these things have to be identified with. The reason that you have the circumstances in your life that are present right now is because you identify with them. When you no longer identify with them, they will not show up in your life anymore. And you can practice this. You can practice by getting a journal, meditating, and when you clear your mind from meditation, you can write in that journal about what you want and how the person you desire to be would actually think. How does this motherfucker think? It's gonna feel uncomfortable. This is one of the things that you have to realize, okay? Just because it feels unfamiliar does not mean it's not working. When you continue to think these thoughts over time, let's say you grab that journal, you start thinking, okay, I'm rich, I'm living a luxurious life. The only circumstances that present themselves in my life are preferable circumstances. I only manifest preferable circumstances. I dominantly think in alignment with my desired reality. Money is easy to manifest. Money's constantly flowing to me. Relationships are easy. I'm successful in dating and relationships. SR is easy for me. My life is easy and peaceful. I have fun with my life. Manifestations that I desire are the only things that I manifest. I only manifest positive manifestations. Manifesting is easy for me. These things will start to become natural to you the more you think them. So let's say you want a car. You start identifying as the person who has that car. You drive your car right now, the one you have, like it is the one you want. And you think and identify as the person that's driving the car that you want. So you tell yourself, I'm driving this car that I want now. Let's say it's a Lamborghini, right? You want to drive a Lamborghini. You identify as the person who drives a Lamborghini. So if someone tells you, oh, are you driving your Honda? In the external world, you cannot give that attention. You can say, yeah, okay, whatever. But in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I'm driving my Lamborghini. The reason that this is important is because you're going to be tested with echoes of your previous thinking. And it will come in the form of people and yourself, okay? Your decision on who you're identifying with is the most important thing. If someone calls you the wrong name, you're not going to listen to them, right? Even if they're very persistent in talking to you, thinking that you're that person. and let's say your name is Jeff, and they're calling you Jason. Jason, I want to talk to you, but your name is Jeff. You're going to be like, that's not me, right? So if somebody is trying to make you identify, they're not making you, but it's your previous thinking testing you. A sign that you're close to your manifestation is that your previous identity, your previous belief system doesn't want to die out. In order for you to have a physical experience, you need to have a belief system. Your belief system is like the operating system to your reality. Now that you're taking out that journal, now that you're contributing to this new reality by aligning your thoughts with that reality, your old reality is going to be like, are you sure, motherfucker? Are you sure that you're the guy with the Lambo? Are you sure that you don't have to work anymore? Are you sure that you have a house? Your mind is going to say, oh, fuck, I have to live in reality. But the right thing to do would be ignore it. It sounds simple, but it may not be simple because you're going to have an emotional reaction, right? So don't give it attention. If someone's calling you Jason and your name is Jeff, you're going to be like, that's not me. I'm not going to give it attention. This doesn't apply to me, right? That's how you should act when someone's saying, oh, you're driving your Honda to work today? You're thinking, well, in the external reality, yeah, I'm going to do that shit. But internally, I'm driving my Lambo to the fucking beach. Your mind doesn't know the difference. The longer you stay in that dominant thinking of what you want, rewiring your brain, your external reality is going to shift so fucking fast. People are going to be like, so you're driving that Lambo to the beach? You're like, yeah. Because a week ago, you were driving the Lambo to the beach, and a week later, you continued thinking that way. Reality has no option but to reflect that back to you, because that's who you identify with. I'm not saying go around telling people what's happening in your internal reality. I'm saying ignore the pressure from external factors in order for you to stay in alignment with what you want. The longer you think those thoughts that are in your journal, I'm rich, I'm living a luxurious life, my life is so easy, my life is peaceful, my life is beautiful, I'm so happy and I'm having fun all the time, you stay in that identity and you loop that shit. Robotic affirming is what got me my house. Visualizing that I was in my house, visualizing that I was in my apartment before I had the apartment, visualizing that I had the house before I was living in the house, helped me and actually brought my manifestation to me. But what I was really manifesting was the version of me who already had it, me, right? The identification of the person who has those things. Yes, the manifestation is going to happen. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. What you need to do is identify with the motherfucker who has it, right? And that goes with anything. It's the same process. If you want a car, think you have the car already right now. Don't change it. Don't go back and forth and contradict your vibration. Don't say, I have the car on Monday, but on fucking Tuesday, I can't think like I have the car because external reality is asking me to be real. Fuck them. Fuck the NPCs of this world. You're special. You're already doing something that's extremely hard, which is SR. You deserve to have everything you want with or without SR, because your mind is the most powerful thing in this entire reality. Your mind doesn't know the difference between the outside and the inside. Your mind, if you tell yourself that you are eating something else than what you're eating, yes, in physical reality, you're going to be eating that. But your mind, you're still going to, if you're eating cereal and you're telling yourself you're eating a steak, obviously you're eating cereal. It's going to taste like cereal. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying your mind interprets it, reads it, and reconstructs your future reality based on what you're doing in your mind, not what you're doing in the external unless it enters your mind. So ignore reality, because the things that you're thinking are becoming the input to your future. Now, some key points that we have to remember. You have to be patient, and you have to be disciplined, and you have to be consistent, and you have to dominantly think as the person who has what they want. So you can think on Monday, you're thinking, I'm so rich. You go throughout that entire day feeling great. You wake up, you're visualizing that you're in the house you want to be in. You visualize that you're driving the Lambo. You visualize that even while you're at work, you're thinking, I'm at home and this is great. I'm having such a great life. You're radiating that vibration and you're changing the input to what reality will reflect back to you. As you're changing that input, you still have to deal with reality. When I was living not in the house that I wanted to be in, when I was not in the car that I wanted to be in, I was still thinking like the motherfucker that had the life that he wanted. I was still thinking that I had the house when I didn't. I'd think, while I'm walking through the hallways of some place I didn't want to be at, I thought, I'm living in my dream house. And then I manifested it. Because reality has no option but to conform to who you're identifying with dominantly. So let's say on Monday you're thinking, okay, I have the house, I have the car, I got the relationship, I got all this shit. But on Tuesday, you go back to the old identity. Your reality doesn't know who to listen to. It's just listening to you. It's not listening to anybody else. So if you say everything's good on Monday and then on Tuesday it's not, and then on Wednesday you go back to being good, you're going to get a mixed reflection back. You have to stay in the dominant, aligned version of what you want in order to get that dominantly reflected back into your reality. And if the thing is, it's very internal, it's very mental. It has nothing to do with the external, but the external is a signal to you as to what you have been previously inputting. If people are treating you like shit, you have a limiting belief that people are treating you like shit, and you keep feeding it. You keep giving it attention and energy, so that has to happen. The thing is with manifestation and developing this mindset that you can manifest, there is a level of acceptance that everything that you have manifested in your life was done by you. The circumstances that you will live will be done by you. The circumstances that you have lived were manifested by you. You have to accept it. Once you accept that, now you can move forward in the way that you want. Okay, this is where I'm at. It's just like a GPS, okay? Maybe the GPS is telling you to go left and you end up going right. The GPS, you stop following the GPS 20 minutes ago. So now you're in the butt-fuck middle of nowhere, right? If you want to get to where you want to be, the GPS is just gonna make another route to where you are now. It's not gonna make you go all the way fucking back, try to understand where you fucked up. It's just gonna tell you where to go from where you are. It's the same thing with reality. Okay, maybe you got yourself in a situation where you don't want to be. You can still get to where you want to be, even from that place of not being there. Just like a GPS, they're just gonna develop another route for you to follow. Now that route is you mentally aligning with the version of yourself who has the things, who has the life, who is the person who's living in that desired reality. Now, how does that work on a practical level? Okay, even though I was living not in this house, even though there were moments where I was frustrated, I didn't change my mind. Even when I didn't have the money, even when I didn't have the relationship, when I didn't have the car, when I didn't have these things, I didn't change my mind. And this video is going to be more about specific manifestations, but I also talk about what happens when you're general in a different video. So I wouldn't change my mind being faced with these external, real circumstances, 3D, physical reality. When people would be like, fuck, you don't have the house. When I would drive my car and I'd be like, fuck, this isn't the car that I wouldn't put it in my mind though. I'd be like, no, I'm driving my Mercedes right now. I live in my house. So when I would go to sleep at night, I would meditate and I would think, I'm so grateful that I had such a good day. I'm so grateful that I'm living in my house. And no matter what the external reality showed me, all of my thoughts, this is the thing that people don't understand. I am consciously in alignment with my desired reality at all times. It's practice. Meditation is going to help you. And it may seem like, holy fuck, how are you controlling your thoughts all the time? I've heard people say this to me. Because I fucking practice. And that's why I'm living the life that I want to live. Because I practice. This shit did not happen overnight. This is years of work. Okay? And you have to practice dominantly thinking as that person. So that means check your fucking thoughts in every moment. Check what you're thinking, because that's going to be the input to what you create next. What reality is going to reflect back to you. Reality is a mirror. Think of it as a literal mirror. The mirror is showing you who you are in this moment. When you change what you're doing on the other side of that mirror is going to reflect that back. Reality works the same way. So let's say you want a car, okay? But you're driving a hoopty right now. If you keep thinking about the hoopty and you identify as the hoopty driver, nothing's gonna change. If you worry about how things are gonna manifest, Nothing's going to change because you are identifying as the person who's thinking, well, how is it going to happen? How am I going to get the money? I didn't give a fuck how I was going to get the money. I just thought I'm rich. I just thought I have the money. I just thought I don't need to worry about money. I just thought my bills are fucking paid. I just thought I have the house. My mind keeps thinking these thoughts consistently. I'm not talking about an hour a day. I'm not talking about 30 minutes a day. I'm talking about from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep at night. And when you go to sleep and when you are asleep and you're unconscious, the law of attraction is no longer at play. Because now your vibration is resetting. You are unconscious. There is no conscious thinking. The universe has nothing to work with other than your previous vibration, which is what you were thinking before you go to sleep. So when you wake up, you're most likely going to think about the shit that you were thinking about right before you went to bed. That's why it's good to have conscious awareness of what you're thinking about before you go to bed. So I would think, I'm living in my house. I'm living in my new house. I'm so happy I don't have to worry about bills. I'm so happy I don't have to worry about money. I have money. My bills are paid. My rent is paid. I'm living in my dream house. If you think about how is it going to happen, what kind of identification is that, right? You're identifying as the person who doesn't have it. And this goes with everything. A relationship. You should be telling yourself, the bitch you want, the woman you want is in love with you. And that's all you should be saying. Never think about the opposite. The woman that you want, she's in love with you. She only wants you. She only wants to suck your dick. She only wants to have sex with you. She's all eyes on you, obsessed with you. Whatever you want, right? That's what you're going to say. Dominantly thinking that. You want money? I don't have to worry about money. I have all the money that I want. I'm living a luxurious life. I'm rich as fuck. You dominantly think that no matter what's going, you could be flipping burgers and you keep thinking, I'm rich. If you don't let your vibration contradict itself, which means you're going from I'm rich to thinking you're broke as fuck, you have to stay dominantly in the I'm rich vibration. When you do that, reality has no option but to conform. Now, if you start thinking, oh, I don't know how it's going to happen. I keep getting these echoes testing me, and it's like, well, I don't know who I'm identifying with. Then reality is going to reflect that back to you. Whereas, like, we don't know what you want. We don't know. The universe doesn't know what you want. The universe just listens to what you're thinking about, what you're giving your energy to. The universe isn't going to think, well, he wants a Lambo, but he's thinking about his hoopty, so I'm going to give him a Lambo. No. Is thinking he keeps thinking about his hoopty, so I guess he wants a fucking hoopty. If you keep thinking, oh my god, this woman doesn't like me, but I really want her, but the universe isn't giving it to me, the universe isn't going to say, well, he really wants the girl, so we're just going to give it to him. No, the universe is thinking, well, he keeps identifying as the person who doesn't get chosen, he keeps identifying as the person who isn't loved, he keeps identifying as the person who's missing out on this shit. But if you identify as the person, oh, she loves me, I don't got to worry about this shit. She loves me. I got the money. I got the house. I got all this shit. The universe has no option but to reflect that back to you. But the thing where people mess up is like, how is it going to happen now? I need to know physically. What do I need to do physically? Do whatever the fuck you need to do physically to survive, right? If you got to go to work, if you got to go to school, if you got to do all this shit, ignore it though in your mind. Because your mind is the operator of reality. If you continue regurgitating the same shit that your external circumstances are providing, you're looking at your work, you're looking at your school, and you're thinking about it. The input that you keep getting from the external is going to solidify the continuation of that reflection. So you have to keep getting that reflected back to you because you keep giving it energy. The moment you stop giving it attention and energy, that's where things shift. If you want your manifestation tomorrow, then shift your mind today. This shit will happen insanely fucking fast. The faster you change your mind, the faster the money's gonna come in. The faster you identify as somebody rich, the faster the money's gonna come in. If you keep going back and forth, I'm rich, but somebody tells me I'm broke, and then I'm fucking broke, and then I'm rich again when I get in a good mood, and you gotta understand, you have to dominantly stay in the alignment of what you desire, or else the reflection is going to give you mixed signals. And that brings us back. If you're being specifically negative, then it would make sense that specifically negative things are happening. If you're being generally negative, then it would make sense that shit is just generally fucked. But if you're being generally positive, then it would be making sense that things are just generally good, right? But the more specific you are, builds more momentum in what you want. If you're thinking, nah, I want the fucking Lambo, or I want this specific house, or I want a relationship that's specifically like this with this specific person, then you have to dominantly think like you are that person already having that thing, all the time. You have to dominantly think that you are that person. And it can't just be for 5 minutes. It can't just be for 10 minutes. It can't just be for 2 days out of the week. Because think about it. You want this house for a year. You want this house for maybe a while. You want this car for a couple months or a year. You want this relationship for a while. You want to have sex with this girl for a while. You want to go on this SR streak for a while. That means you got to dominantly think like that motherfucker for a while. But if you don't contradict yourself, that shit will happen fast. If you start telling yourself, SR is easy. SR is so fucking easy. I'm on a 300-day streak. SR is fucking amazingly easy. Dude, you are not going to be fucking up. You're not going to have urges. This is how I'm on 260 days. I'm about to hit 260 days. If you continue to tell yourself, I'm rich, I don't have to worry about money, the reflection is going to be like, well, fuck, he's rich. He never has to worry about money. If you start thinking, how's it going to happen? The reflection will give that back to you, right? So things that practically help me with this: journaling. Constantly writing down the thoughts of the person that I wanted to be made it easier for me. And when I would get hit with tests or urges to bring up that old identity, I'd go back in my mind or to the journal and I would think, you know what? Fuck you, reality. I'm the creator. You're going to listen to me. I'm not going to listen to you because you are my old unconscious previous self. So I'm going to tell you what the fuck to do. I'm rich. I'm living a luxurious life. I get any woman that I want. I have the car that I want. I have the house that I want. I have the career if I want a career. I have the career that I want. I'm living the life that I want. I have the physique that I want. Now, the universe is going to be like, he is not fucking around. He is dominantly thinking like this. We don't know the difference between what he's thinking and what's real. We're going to reflect back to him where he's giving his energy. So if you're dominantly thinking like that, then the reflection is going to be that. But if you go back and forth, you're not dominantly thinking with what you want, so you're not going to get what you want. The process depends on how quickly you change your mind. See, if someone is if their manifestation is taking a long time, it's because they keep contradicting themselves. One day they're happy and they're thinking positively and they're in alignment, and then the next day they're fucking negative and they're asking themselves, why isn't it here? What happened? I was thinking positively for the whole day. Well, obviously it's not going to come in because you haven't made that identification process. You know you've changed completely when you no longer need the external to give you validation for you changing. When you have made that change and shit comes up in the external and you don't care and you're still dominantly thinking, the manifestation is going to happen. Because you are no longer contradicting yourself regardless of what's happening in your external reality. So continue to dominantly think those thoughts that are in your journal. Continue to meditate so that you can have control over your thoughts. Continue to ignore reality in the way that fits you best. If you gotta go to work, I'm not saying don't go to work. Go to work, survive, do what you gotta do to survive. But ignore it in your mind. Ignore it as much as you can. Think about the things that you want to live. Think about positive things. Think about how you want to feel. And then focus on the feeling of actually having those things. And what I mean by that is sometimes you're going to be thinking the thoughts and there's no feeling. Do a visualization. Take 10 minutes out of your day and just do a visualization of what it would be like to actually live those experiences first person. You know what I mean? And then you can start to develop your imagination and you start to sense things out in your inner world. It starts to become dominant to you. It starts to become exciting to you. You should be excited. These things are going to fucking happen in your life. These things that you've been waiting for, these things that you want them for a reason. You deserve them. But they can only manifest if you allow them into your reality. Now, how do you allow them? You have to stop fucking contradicting yourself. You have to continue to allow them by being easy, by being patient, by understanding, hey, what's more important is my internal world, because that's going to design my reality, whether it's today, tomorrow, a week from now. My internal world is constantly creating the blueprint for what my reality is going to look like. So meditation, journaling, and just remember, dominant. It's okay if I spiral a little bit in the negative. It's okay if I give attention a little bit. But if I can bring myself back to the dominant thing and just think dominant. I am the creator. I'm the one that the universe is listening to. I'm not going to listen to what other people are telling me or what they think I should identify with, because that was my previous identification. This is who I am now, and I'm going to show my reality by being that person inside, and that will lead to me being that person in the external. And then people are going to be like, how'd you do it, dude? How'd you manifest the house? How'd you get the money? You were working this job and now you have a house. What the fuck happened? I was a mechanic, dude. I was making fucking plane parts. All of a sudden, I'm making music, I'm selling beats, and I never knew that I was going to be a model. All of a sudden, I'm getting sent money my way just because I'm thinking that I deserve it. And I'm aligning as that person. I'm thinking, I'm rich. I'm not working a fucking job. I fucking quit. A bunch of money comes to me, and I'm thinking, fuck, well, I can get a house. Well, I want this house. I have this house. I have this house. But if I kept thinking throughout that process, how is it going to happen? I didn't know that these things were going to happen, you know, in this exact way that it played out. But I knew what I wanted, and I got it. Because no matter what was happening, no matter if I went to my fucking job where I had to make fucking plane parts. You think I want to make plane parts for the rest of my life? Fuck no. While I was at work, I was thinking, I don't have to work. I was at work thinking, I don't have to work. I'm rich. I'm living a luxurious life. I have my own house. Reality caught up with my identification process, and it will happen to you. But the thing is, you cannot worry. You have to be confident, you have to be disciplined in your mind, and you have to start doing things in your reality that eases your mind and actually develops a kind of patience. You know, you don't need, if you feel like you need it today, you're gonna be forcing it, like you need it. It's very desperate, you know, like you keep looking outside to the external reality. But if you're like, I have it, you don't need it because you have it. If you want something, you don't have it. If you need it, you don't have it. But if you have it, you fucking have it. And there is nothing. If you drive a Benz, right? You're driving the Benz, and someone is, and let's say you want the Ferrari, okay? You're driving the Benz, but you want the Ferrari. And people keep telling you that you're driving the Benz, and they're asking you about your car, right? In your mind, you're thinking, I'm driving the Ferrari, motherfucker. I'm driving the Ferrari. I'm driving the Ferrari. So when they ask you about that car, they ask you about your current car, right? It's a Ferrari in your mind. But when they want to converse about it, you're like, you know, I don't want to talk about it right now. You just get away from it as fast as possible, because you cannot spend time giving your old identification, your old identity. You can't spend time giving your old identity energy. The more energy you give it, you're going to start to feel like you're identifying with that again. So let's say someone is asking you about this car that you're driving right now. When you're thinking about the Ferrari, you're going to try to get out of the conversation in the easiest, kindest way possible. Let's talk about something else, you know? And the thing is, you have to be selfish with your vibration, and you have to be selfish with your thinking. Why do you want to be realistic and not get what you want in order to serve some person in your reality and be real? The reason all of these people are not living what they want is because they're being real. You have to pretend. You have to, and I'm not saying, oh, go put on a fucking chain and go rent a car and go drive it. And no, that's not what I'm saying. But when I say pretend, I mean tend to what is going to be pre-paved into your reality. Pretend. If you look at the word tending, previously to what is going to happen. You're tending previously to this manifestation that is about to happen. You're pretending in your mind that you have it. And when you do that, and when you ignore reality, that manifestation has to happen. And the thing is, if you want something and you feel like you need it now, focus on that one thing. If you want the house, think about the house and owning the house and living in the house, and imagine that you're living in the house right now, not tomorrow, not 3 weeks from now when you get more information. You do it now. You get that fucking journal out. You think, okay, the version of me who has the house, who is that person? What does he think like? I have the house that I want. I'm living the most luxurious life. I don't have to work for money. My house is beautiful. I'm grateful that I'm living in my own house. Now, you dominantly think like that. I'm talking about from the moment you wake up till you go to sleep, and you do it until it manifests. It will manifest tomorrow. It will manifest in a week. It may manifest in a month. But you don't care about how it's going to happen, because the version of you who has it is what you're really manifesting. You're not necessarily just manifesting this thing, because you want to manifest other things too, right? you want money, you want a relationship, you want things in your life. You want to identify as the person who can have all these things. So then now you see where your limiting beliefs are. Like, okay, where am I kind of stuck? What do I have resistance to? And then you focus on the easy stuff you have less resistance to. Or if you want to go all the way to the stuff that you really want, you fucking do it, and you overcome the resistance by meditating and going back into that journal and thinking, you know what, every time I have a conflicting thought, switch it up to the positive and alignment thought. So I'm gonna make more videos like this for you guys, asking about, you know, rewiring your brain. I don't know if I mentioned like what principles I live by, because somebody asked me about that, but that is what I live by. Like, not letting the external reality get in the way of who I want to be, you know? And I do that in a selfish way, meaning I don't give a fuck if somebody is thinking, oh, you had this before, so this is who I see you as. Well, that's not who I am. And you just kindly get away from the conversation as quick as possible, or change the subject, or you just ignore it and stay in your mind and think, no, I have the house, I have the car. Constantly. So you got to meditate, and you got to journal, and you got to be easy on yourself and know this shit is real. It's gonna fucking happen, because the reason you're living the shit that you're living right now is because you thought about it and you gave it attention. I hope you guys are having a good day. I hope this helped you out, and I hope that you get what the fuck you want and you live the life that you want, because you should, man. You have these desires for a reason, and society has dramatized everything, making it extremely difficult to even think that you could have certain things, right? And that's for a reason. They made it complicated. Like, oh, you gotta go work, and all you gotta do is think dominantly in the direction of what you want. Stop listening to society. Stop trying to get more information. Think as the person that you want to be, and everything that you want will manifest in your life. I promise you. I promise you. It sounds simple, but the practice of it takes discipline, and it's the hardest shit that I've ever done in my life. Literally, disciplining my mind is more difficult than SR. It's more difficult than going to fucking school, and it's more difficult than going to work a job. I promise you, this took years of practice. But once you get it, and you really have that manifestation process solidified, which is dominantly aligning with what you want, dude, the world is yours. So I really mean that, and I really want you guys to put this into practice. Grab that fucking journal. Start writing down the thoughts that indicate you have what you want. Like I said, you want that car, you have it. So you would be thinking, I have this car. I'm so happy I have this car. I'm so grateful I have this car. It may seem silly. It may seem frustrating. It may seem like it's boring. A lot of time for me, I was like, this is fucking boring, or it's frustrating. But it's the only thing that actually changes reality. And a lot of people on the outside are going to tell you that you're crazy, you're unrealistic, it's not going to work. It's the only thing that does. Let the rest of society live in this 3D world. Okay? Quantum physics states that every single reality exists in the now moment. You have to tune into it in order to perceive it. Meaning, what you want, there is a version of you who has it right now. But you have to think like that motherfucker to shift into that reality. So when I say dominantly think, I'm not kidding. I'm not like, this isn't something to play around with. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna think about it, but if it doesn't work out, it's not gonna happen then. You have to go all the way in. Like, get that fucking journal out. Any second that you can think and really focus in your mind, focus, imagine what you want. And I'll make more videos on the exact methods. Look into robotic affirming, some books that you can read, The Secret, Ask and It's Given by Abraham Hicks. Look into Neville Goddard's work. Your mind creates reality. So I really appreciate you guys on the Patreon so fucking much. I'm gonna get more videos out. I've just been busy this past week, and I'll post more SR content. Like I said, just recommend whatever you guys want to see, and I will make videos. I really want to assist you in your journey. And dude, have fun with this shit. Like, there is really no limitations unless they're in your mind.